As you may be aware now, the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial took a dramatic turn when defense advocate Malesela Teffo was arrested during proceedings. In fact, as proceedings wrapped up yesterday, Judge Momela adjourned the day's proceedings and postponed the trial to the 30th of May. A group of police officers then came into the courtroom to arrest Advocate Teffo. He's now been granted bail of 10,000 rand in the Hillbrow Magistrate's Court. It's all to do with him, by the way, failing to appear at least twice before the same court on a previous charge of trespassing. Let's talk about what happened yesterday with the General Counsel of the Bars, Advocate Watt-Pringle. Advocate, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. So you have been very clear in your condemnation of the way in which things happened yesterday. You've described it as a disrespect for the court.
Yes, good afternoon. The merits or otherwise of the reasons for the arrest are not the issue. The issue is that Mr. Teffo, who by all accounts is someone whose whereabouts are known, at least we know he's been regularly appearing in this matter. The police see fit to send 5 or 6 officers into the court at the time of the adjournment, and in the full glare of television cameras that appear to have been rolling, because I've seen the live footage, arrested, put in handcuffs, a defense counsel who's acting for accused in a highly publicized and somewhat controversial matter. I'm afraid it just sends a very bad message about the high-handedness of the police and frankly calls into question their motives. The fact that they've, as far as I'm aware, yet to provide a decent explanation for this, if a decent explanation is available to them, simply adds to the public skepticism about the bona fides of these actions.
So Advocate Teffo appeared in court today because he had missed court appearances in the Hillbrow Magistrate's Court on at least 2 occasions related to this trespassing charge. It's being reported, at least in some of the media, that it was only when they caught wind of his appearance in Pretoria yesterday that it was decided that he should then be arrested to effect the warrant. How should that have been handled as per what's stated in law?
Well, I know from personal knowledge that Advocate Teffo has been in the news a lot recently. The fact that he's been appearing in this case has been well known at least for some weeks. And the way in which the police ought to effect an arrest in a case such as this would be to contact him, if necessary through his attorney or directly, and request him to present himself to a police station at a mutually convenient time. If he did not accede to that, then there are any number of times and places where the police could have found him, whether after he'd left the court precinct or when he arrived at his home, if they know his home whereabouts, and effected the arrest there. The fact of the matter is that it cannot be lost on the police that the Senzo Meyiwa prosecution is one which is, I think, 9 years after the event. The investigation has been mired in controversy throughout. The fact that there was no early breakthrough in the case, that investigating officers have had to be changed from time to time. The fact that there's public skepticism, rightly or wrongly, about whether the persons now being tried are in fact the correct people, and I express absolutely no view on that. All I'm saying is that in the public domain, this is a highly controversial matter. Mr. Teffo, as defense counsel, has been cross-examining, amongst others, the investigating officer and attempting to pull apart the state's case. And then the police send a large delegation, whom I understand to be from the reaction unit, to court to arrest him in front of cameras. So did the police ever ask themselves what kind of message it would send to effect an arrest in this way? And did they ever consider the impact on the dignity of the court when police come and effect the arrest of an officer of the court in that manner?
And how serious is it, do you think, for the justice system and the policing system when we're sitting with a situation where an advocate, as you say, was basically dragged out of a court as he was yesterday? He then blames or alleges that the police minister is behind some kind of attempt to have him removed from the Meyiwa murder trial.
Well, see, that's the point. I mean, the appearance, and of course there must still be an investigation into this whole thing, but the appearance is of the police acting in a high-handed manner against defense counsel in a highly controversial matter where the police have themselves copped an enormous amount of criticism over the years. If it turns out, post an independent investigation, which we hope will be conducted, if it turns out that this was an act of harassment and intimidation against defense counsel, then it is an extremely serious matter, and it would also potentially impact on the fairness of the trial of the accused. So the implications can barely be overstated.
Is there any role for the General Counsel of the Bar to play here, given that the person who was the victim of this heavy-handedness by police is an advocate?
Yes, Mr. Teffo is an advocate. To the best of my knowledge, and I speak subject to correction, he's not a member of the General Counsel of the Bar or any of its constituent bars, but that's neither here nor there. We stand for the principle because we represent some 3,000 advocates in the country. We stand for dignity of the courts. We stand for the rule of law. And that is why we saw fit to issue a statement. And the role that we will play is we will ensure that something happens here, and we will address the minister directly if necessary. We've certainly done so through the media, and we're not alone in doing that.
Chairperson of the General Counsel of the Bar, Advocate Craig Watt-Pringle, good to have your time, sir. Thank you very much.